All right. How's it going today? Obviously, I'm having a good day. Out here scooping some leaves off the bottom of the pool. The smoke's clearing up a little bit today, which is nice. Yeah, life is good. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you a little story today. What do you think? You want to hear a story? Well, let me tell you about a guy. This guy's name is Dave. Some would say he's the most famous man in the world. He thinks he is anyway. So anyway, Dave was going to get himself a job. And basically he was getting a job with an agency that deals a lot with high-end clientele. And well, he got the job pretty easily. And that was good for him because he needed one. And problem though is Dave's a bragger. Always bragging about everybody he knows. He knows all these different celebrities. He knows these sports guys and politicians. So one day, right after he got hired, Dave was in there bragging in the break room, and the CEO he decided it was about time we called Dave out on some of his BS. And Dave, I really wish you'd stop bragging about all the people you think you know, but you don't know any of these people. And Dave says, you know what? I do know all these people. They're all my friends. I know everybody. I'm surprised you don't know me. And Dave's like, well, I've never heard of you before you started working here, so I think you're full of crap. Dave's like, you know what? Name anybody you want, and I'd like to introduce you to that person. I'll bet you lunch. So the boss says, you know what? Universal's in town this week, and they're filming a Mission Impossible movie. I bet you don't know Tom Cruise. So Dave says, you know what? I bet you lunch I do know Tom Cruise, and you're going to be shocked. So anyway, with that being said, they hop in their car and they head down to the to where they're filming Mission Impossible. And right then and there, right in the middle of the shoot, Tom Cruise stops the film and says, Dave! Comes running over, gives him one of those bro hugs, you know, the half little "what's up, bro?" And he's like, "Man, it's been so long since I've seen you. How you been?" And Dave's like, "Oh, I've been good. I've been pretty good. I was just in the neighborhood and thought we'd stop by and say hi." And Tom's like, "Well, hey, you know, I got to get back to the movie. Time's money and all, but I'm really glad you stopped by. I'd love to catch up with you. Maybe we'll get dinner tonight or something." So Dave got himself lunch that day, paid for it by his boss, and that was all fine and dandy. And you know, the boss, he's thinking in his head, well, that's all. Maybe he just happens to know Tom Cruise. I mean, come on. So again, a little bit later down the road, a couple weeks later, Dave's still bragging about all the people he knows. Anybody that's in the news, he's like, oh, I know that guy. I've partied with him, or I've seen her around town, or you know, whatever. So anyway, Dave's in the break room again, and the boss is coming in, and he's like, "Good Friday to you, Dave." And Dave's like, "How's it going?" So Dave says, "Hey, how would you like to meet Barack Obama?" And the boss is like, "There's no way you know Barack Obama. There's just no way." And Dave's like, "You know what? This weekend I'm heading up to Brock's house, and I'm going to hang out with him and his wife, and we're going to have lunch together. Why don't you come along? I'd like to introduce you." So the boss is like, dumb, you know, again, he's dumbfounded. He doesn't get it. I mean, who's this? This guy's like just any other dude. So Dave picks him up on Saturday, and they head up to Martha's Vineyard, and they head up to the Obama's house, the new one they got on the beach there. And sure enough, Dave knocks on the door, and Michelle opens it up and says, "David, so good to see you. I can't believe you made it down on time. You're always late." Dave, you know, gives a little chuckle, you know, a little ribbing, never hurt nobody. And the boss is just jaw drops. I mean, there's just no way. So I'm not going to get into the long story of what they had for lunch or anything like that, but yeah, so the boss comes back and he's telling all the workers, oh my God, Dave knows the Obamas. It was pretty cool. So a couple more weeks goes by, and the Dave's bragging again, and there's no way. This boss says there's no way you know LeBron James. I mean, you don't know. You don't know Wilson Phillips. You don't know any of these people. Come on, man. And he's like, dude, I've already introduced you to Tom Cruise. I introduced you to the Obamas. I mean, what is it going to take to make you believe that I know everybody? Everybody's my friend. So the CEO is like, you know what? I bet you don't know the Pope. And Dave's like, Francis? Me and Francis go way back. We were singing choir together back in the day. And the boss is like, come on, how are you going to prove this one? You don't know the Pope. So I gotta get this leaf. Yeah. So Dave says, I'll tell you what, since I've already proven you wrong, you buy the flight, and I'll take you to the Vatican, and I'm going to introduce you to Pope Francis. Well, it's a nice weekend, and it makes for a good story. So the boss ends up getting them some tickets, and the next weekend they flew out to the Vatican. And it just so happens that when they get to St. Peter's Square, it's full of people. There's a lot of people standing around, and obviously the Pope is getting ready to make some sort of speech, prayer for the people there. And Dave's like, look, there's something going on. I don't think I can get you inside, but maybe I can get Pope Francis to come out and meet you. Either way, the boss is ecstatic to be at the Vatican, and he's happy with with the trip so far. And then, sure enough, Dave just walks right on in, goes right past all the guards, and he just goes into the Vatican. And as Dave comes upstairs, he sees Pope Francis there with his bishops and everybody, and they're getting ready to give this speech or the prayer, whatever they were doing. And as they walk out onto the balcony, there's this large commotion going out in the crowd, and Dave gets really worried because that's where he had left the CEO or the boss. He goes running downstairs, and then sure enough, when he gets down to where the crowd's all gathered around this one person, the boss, he's laying there on the ground clutching his chest like he's having a little cardiac moment. And he's like, what's going on, man? Are you okay? Are you okay? And the boss is just like, I can't believe it. It just doesn't make any sense. And he's like, what? Dave's like, what's the matter? What doesn't make any sense? And the boss says, I'm standing here waiting for you to come out with the Pope. And sure enough, this guy standing next to me as you guys are coming out on the balcony, this guy's like, who the fuck's that with Dave? So anyway, that's my story about Dave, the most famous man in the world. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. If you liked my story and you like to keep them free, I sure would appreciate it if next time you see some trash laying around, just pick up one piece of trash. One piece of trash isn't going to take you but a second to pick up, but it might inspire somebody else to keep the ground a little bit cleaner than we found it. Thanks again, guys. I hope you have a great day.